Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Angela, and I am thrilled to have you here today. If you are enjoying the podcast, please don't forget to click the subscribe button so that you get notified when I have new ones coming up, because we have so many amazing guests. And today we have a very special guest. Her name is Sylvie Sterling, and she is an internationally acclaimed cat whisperer, author, starseed, interspecies communicator, ascension guide, and channel of the Cat Collective. As the author of The Cat Secret, she reveals the secret soul mission of cats to help their humans align with their soul purpose. Her intuitive abilities to see the connection between your cat's behavior and your own unresolved life topics empower you to harness your cat's help on your spiritual path for a happy, awakened, and purposeful life together. I love that. And I love that, we're going to get to talk about all things cats because I absolutely love cats. And I know a lot of people who do. And in particular, I had a very special cat well, I called him my study buddy. He took me through two master's degrees. So he'd lay and purr beside me while I studied. And so I'm excited about talking about this. And so welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. So how did you get to, let's just get a little background on how you started into all of this. Like there's so much that you do.
hmm So let's see if we can do a short version so we can
Yeah.
get to the topics that we really want to talk about. But I was always a cat lover. I grew up with cats and dogs in a very, very pet-friendly family, but I never thought I would do this for a living. So I just always thought they were my companions, right? And I went off to do other things. I lived alone for a while. I said I didn't have space I was traveling, so I said I didn't have space in my life for cats. And I went into a career in the movie industry. I worked in the movie industry for 20 plus years, which was, I love being in the movie industry, but at some point after 20 years, there was just something here in my heart that really wanted to come through. And I said, there's got to be something else in life to do than just draw up movie marketing plans and stuff, right? So I started to search for my purpose, for my true calling, and it came to me very quickly that I wanted to work with cats. I've always loved cats, and I had cats in my life at that point, and they were training me on the job. I had three wonderful cats, and I realized that they had been training me on the job to be a cat practitioner, to be a cat whisperer, because one of them he had come to me with problems, with emotional problems, he was a rescue, he had all these health problems, he had emotional problems, and I had to find solutions over the years. I wanted him happy and healthy, and the vets couldn't help me anymore. After a while, they said his condition is just, we don't know what else to do.
Mm.
And I had to find my own solutions. So I looked into alternative therapies, I looked into energy healing, I looked into animal communication just to find out what was going on with him. And by the time he was 8 years old, he became a happy and healthy cat. And I was already halfway there to being a cat whisperer because he was teaching me. He was teaching me to become a cat whisperer. And when I realized that, I said, it's time to really do this for a living. I'm already halfway there. I quit my job pretty much cold turkey after a year or two after realizing that. I quit my job and I dove head into this adventure of being a full-time cat whisperer. And I did practicing in the beginning. I was helping people with their cat problems. I got a degree as a cat behaviorist, as a cat psychologist. So I did it all by the book. But I had to find my own way again. And I added energy healing to the, let's say, book lore, right? What they teach you in animal psychology school. I added energy healing to it. I started to work with cats. And then I found animal communication. And that was the game changer. And it all happened pretty fast. The cats started to talk to me. My soul family started to talk to me. I was in this full spiritual awakening at the time, and I got the message I was to teach about the cat's purpose, that cats have a beautiful, wonderful purpose to help us humans with our purpose. And that would be my purpose, to go and teach that, because people don't talk about the purpose of cats. People talk about dogs have a purpose.
Right.
Dogs guard the house, they protect the family, they're a loyal friend, right? So people recognize that dogs have a purpose. And a lot of people don't recognize that cats have a purpose. They say cats just eat and sleep and they do nothing, and right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here to teach people that cats have a purpose. They are teachers, like my cat was a teacher, and I believe your cat was a teacher too, right? Or a
Yeah.
supporter. They are healers, they are energy workers, they are muses, they are protectors. They do all these wonderful things for us. So that's how this all came about, that now I work with cats and with humans. And when people come to me and they say, please help my cat has all these issues or problems, I show them the correlation, that the cat's just being their teacher, the cat's being their mirror, the cat shows them what's off in their life. And it was kind of a long story now after all, but that's how I got to do what I do. And then all the intuitive gifts came online, and I started to channel, and I started to talk to cats on the other side of the veil, cats that have passed. People came to me and said, can you get a message from my cat on the other side? So it became this whole big spiritual endeavor that I'm on now, just from being a movie executive to being a cat therapist to basically now being a channel and a guide for people.
Hmm. That's amazing. And I love because a lot of the stories that I do for the podcast are people who have completely, abandoned whatever they were doing and just went all for something that felt right to them. It felt good, it was fun, it was exciting, and yet it always ends up in service to others, and it gives you such purpose through that. And so it's so cool. I'm excited to hear more about, first of all, because it's a grief podcast, we were just talking off air just a little bit about how, that can get dismissed. Because, people think that the loss of a pet maybe doesn't equal the loss of a human partner or something along that line. But I always say that grief, we don't get to measure our grief. And I remember losing dogs and cats, and especially the dog and cat that I lost close to my husband. Those were tough losses. And so I know that you help people who have lost a pet, and maybe you can speak a little bit to that grief and just how you can help people with that.
Mhm. There's so many people come to me with, I mean, I've experienced grief with my cats here, one there. When they passed away, it was like my children, my family members passing away.
Mhm.
And a lot of people come to me and they say they're in mourning, but they say that society doesn't recognize it. I mean, if you're a pet lover, you will be sympathetic, but a lot of people will not recognize the loss of a pet as being in mourning, and it is. We are in mourning, and a lot of, when a family member passes away, then everybody understands. Your boss will say, take a couple of days off. Your friends will say, take all the time you need. We understand you just lost a family member. But a lot of people don't understand. They say, it was just a cat. What are you upset? It was just a cat. Get a new cat, right?
Mhm.
And that's not what it is, because they're family members. And when you look at your, let's say, cats and dogs, I mean, a lot of people, they have horses and they have other animals, but I specifically want to talk about cats and dogs. I work with a lot of dog lovers as well, and with dogs in the afterlife as well, by the way. And they spend more time with us than our human family members do. Your cat, your dog will always be by your side. When you're at home, your dog likely will always be with you. Your cat likely will sleep in the bed with you. Your cat will be there through thick and thin. Your cat will be there to help you with your emotional stuff, right? They
Mhm.
are family members. We raised them when they're kittens. We feel they're like our children. We've raised them. They are with us for 10, 20 years sometimes. They're family members. And when they cross over, we mourn just like we mourn any family member, and it's not recognized by society. And so a lot of people come to me and they say, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to go on from here. I don't understand. And so first of all, it's about recognition. People want, we need
Mhm.
to work out there with people. It was not just a cat, it was a family member that passed. So give the person the grieving space. But the other thing I wanted to say was the thing with pets is what's different sometimes, not always different, but what's different with pets is that people usually they feel guilty. They
Mm.
feel guilty that they didn't see it, they didn't recognize it, they didn't do anything on time. A lot of people come to me and they're really, really beating themselves up over, I should have gone to the vet earlier. I should have just seen the signs earlier. I should have gone to a different vet. I should have not have the vet euthanized yet. I should have given my cat a chance. Was it the right thing to do? Because with pets, the thing is that the vets, and I'm not speaking against vets, if your cat is, sick, please take your cat to the vet. But the vets, they're very quick with saying the cat has no quality of living. We got to euthanize the cat, right? And that's something that's not done with humans. With pets, there's a lot of pressure, or people see your cat being sick and they say, can you just, your cat has no quality of living, just have a euthanized, right? And then you have to make that decision because
Right.
society pressures you into a decision.
Mhm.
So they make the decision to have the cat euthanized, and then they beat themselves up afterwards. They say, I don't know, I shouldn't have done it. Maybe there was still hope. I did my cat wrong. So there's a lot of guilt over the loss of a pet. Usually there's a lot of guilt, and that's what I work with. And that's how I help people because there's no reason to feel guilty. The cats or the dogs for that matter, they say it was exactly okay the way it happened. Don't feel bad, don't feel guilty. I'm now speaking with cats on the other side because as a communicator, I communicate with cats on the other side. And they always tell their humans, it was okay. It was my time to go. It was the right decision. I don't want you to feel guilty. They say, I want you to remember me at my best. I don't want you to remember me at my worst when I was sick, when I was really, old, sick, something. They said, remember me at my best when I was at the healthiest, the happiest, the youngest. Remember me like that.
Mhm.
And I also can communicate with loved ones, I mean, humans on the other side. So I'm pretty sure it transfers over our loved ones on the other side, or human loved ones on the other side. They don't want us to feel guilty or bad either. They want us to remember them like that too. But I do speak for the cats. So just transfer that to the human. If you're mourning the loss of a human, if your viewers are mourning the loss of a human crossed over,
Mm.
it's the same way. They don't want us to be. They don't want us to stay in mourning long. They don't want us to beat ourselves up over we should have seen it coming. I should have done this. I should have done that. No, they want us to live our life and to remember them at their best.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I believe that wholeheartedly, that they want that. And I've also heard that, on they're with us and they're feeling, with us, and they can see us, and they're feeling those emotions. And so when we are sad all the time, that's then they're sad with us. And that's beautiful. And at the same time, they're really wishing for us to be happy. And so I love that message. Um, so, how do you have these conversations with the cats on the other side? Like, how does this whole afterlife conversation go for you?
It's like any conversation with a living cat. You go into a little meditation, you go into this theta mode, right? Where your brain goes into this meditative mode. And then I call in the cat, and the cat comes in, whether they're a cat that is alive. I have these conversations with living cats. I call them in the ether, basically. I call them in the meditation. And that's the same way that the crossed over cats come in. I can call any cat wherever they are, or dog or horse for that matter, and they will come in and then they will have a conversation with me, or they will show me things. They will tell me things about their humans that only they would know. So a lot of times say, oh my God, yeah, that's right. They would always say, did your cat always do this? Or did your cat always do that? Or sometimes I say when I do live, when I speak with a person and they channel their cat live, basically, for instance, I would say I see your cat laying around your shoulders. And then the person would say, oh my God, yeah, the cat would always lie around my shoulders, would always have the tail here. And I see that in my meditative state. So it's really beautiful. And I can ask them questions, or they will volunteer information. They will always give me the information that that person needs to know. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever needs to come through will come through in these conversations. If they need comfort, if they need confirmation that it was their time to go, that they did not suffer, that it needed to happen, they will get that confirmation or any other message that they need to know at that time.
Mm, that's amazing. And there's archetypes for cats. And I just got this off Podmatch when I was looking through your questions. I'm like, oh, archetypes for cats. Like, is that because I've known a lot of different types of cats and they all have such different personalities. So I'm anxious to hear a little bit more about this.
Mm-hmm. So the 12 cat archetypes were given to me by the cats. Basically, they are the 12 main cat purposes, for lack of a better word.
Okay.
I would, after I got that message from, for me that I was supposed to talk about the purpose of cats, I set out to talk to literally thousands of cats just to get, to validate this information. They all said, yes, 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 I'm here with a purpose. And I would ask every cat, what is your purpose? And after a while, I saw this pattern emerge. So I put it in this booklet, the 12 cat archetypes. And these are, for instance, some cats are healers. They're natural healers. They will lay on you. They will not just a purring, but they are natural. Just their presence will heal you. There are cats that are natural energy workers. They will sit on your couch. People will come over and say, you have such a lazy cat. All that cat does is just sit on the couch and sleep, right? And your cat's getting all chubby and fat. And look at the lazy cat. And chances are that this cat is an energy worker. They are like a power plant. They work 24/7 while they're asleep. They work and they churn the energies. They will change the energies in your house. They will suck in let's say, the bad energies, and they will spit out the good energies. So they're like a power plant. They're working. Some cats are teachers. They will teach me, like my cat taught me to become a cat whisperer. He kind of forced me in that direction. He was a teacher. There are other cats are joy bringers or lovers, and that seems kind of simple, right? The cat's a joy bringer. But these are the cats that are very entertaining, very cute, very funny. They will always put a smile on our face. And it's so important because we need more joy in our lives. I mean, look at the state of the world, right? We need joy. We need happiness in our lives. So these cats are joy bringers. And there's mirrors. Those are the ones that will show us where we are not happy, where we are not aligned. They mirror back when we don't trust the world. We will get a cat that doesn't trust you, that doesn't want to be touched. These cats sometimes are mirrors for us when we don't want to be, bothered by anybody. They will mirror our issues back, or not issues. They will mirror our unresolved life topics back at us so we can recognize ourselves in them. So these are just some of the archetypes. Some are more complicated. This is some of the easier ones, but you can look it up in the book, The 12 Cat Archetypes.
Yeah. So that's super interesting. I mean, I want to get your book now and read it. Where can we find your book?
The ebook, the free ebook, my website, sylviesterling.com. It's the
Okay.
first button that you can click on, the 12 cat archetypes. But then they are explained in more detail in the book, The Cat Secret. And that is on Amazon, any other online bookseller. You can buy it on Amazon, or you can also download it on my website for a little less money because it's in a PDF version. But that is where the cats actually explain the archetypes themselves, and they go in a lot of detail about each archetype. And also so they explain what they do for you when they're that archetype, what do they do for you, but also how to go from here. What do you do with that going forward? How does it help you on your path when you have a healer cat in your life? How does that help you going forward? When you have a mirror cat in your life, how do you deal with that? What does it teach you? And how do how do you go forward with that? How do you have your mirror cat help you?
Hmm,
So
that's
that's all in
really,
the book, and it goes in a lot of detail.
wow, that's really interesting. I mean, if you have a cat, it'd be fun and
Mhm.
probably really helpful to look that up and see what archetype you think your cat is, and then to get that kind of guidance. I think that's amazing.
It's actually more helpful than, I mean, it's fun too, yes, of course, but it's really, really essential to know what your cat does for you because it explains their behavior. So if people have this odd, alarming cat behavior, they say, my cat does all these weird things, I wish I could understand. Check their archetype. If you know who your cat is, that explains their behavior. So it's very helpful, but it's also helpful for yourself because your cat is your guide. Your cat will guide you on your life path if you just harness their help, if you just let them help you.
Yeah. And I find it fascinating. I mean, I'm thinking about my son right now because he has a cat that loves him and him alone, really. It
Mhm,
seems like the
mhm,
rest of us are just, it's nice to have us around, but he's not interested in us at all. You could
mhm,
get maybe one pet in and then he's going to nip you or bite you. But my son, he just loves my son.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, it's
Well,
crazy.
some cats have a task, especially with one person, and then they will stick with that person no matter what. And some cats have a more, they support the whole family, or they're there for several people, or they're there for the cat group. A lot of some cats, when you have a larger cat group, like three, four, five, some cats are kind of there as the buffer. They're there for the cat group to keep the group stable and balanced. But yeah, a lot of cats are there just for one person, and he might be a lover or a supporter or both, but he's just there for your son, and he takes his job very seriously.
Yeah, that's so cool. So, how are cats and humans related? Like, this is a question that you had on there, and I'm just really curious about this.
Hmm. So we have actually 90% cat DNA, or let's say 90% of DNA is identical with cats.
Hmm.
We are closest to the monkey. I think it's commonplace knowledge that we have 90 and 97% of DNA is identical with the monkey. And with some monkeys, the chimpanzees and those monkeys, there's only 3% of DNA that sets us apart, really, which is kind of nothing, right? So
Right.
everybody knows that we share DNA with the monkeys. But when you look at the scale, actually, the cat is actually our next relative, right next to the monkeys, right after the monkeys. We have 90% DNA that's identical with cats. So that's just the DNA side of it. We are very closely related physically, really. But when you look at, well, I mean, we can go all galactic now, how the Lyrans, the feline tribes, were putting their DNA into humanity about 200,000 years ago. That's in the book, The Cat Secret. I don't know if you want to go all that cosmic and galactic. So we were given feline DNA from our Lyran forefathers. But just on an earthly basis here, when you look at the cats, they are closest to us in personality. They're closest to us from all the animals that we know. The cats are closest to us in personality. Cats have a lot of traits that we have. We're independent, we're stubborn, we're hard-headed, we do our own thing, right?
Mhm.
We they are just very, very close to us in antics, closer than the dogs or any other animals. I mean, I love dogs too. I don't want to, I don't want to say anything about dogs. I love dogs. But cats are just closer to us. The dog will be more obedient. The cat is free spirited. They have free will.
Right.
They are the only animals that don't live in a certain social order. And this is actually also scientifically proven. Scientists, biologists, they try to establish something for the cats, like the dogs have an alpha dog, and they have this ranking, right? Or the wolves have a ranking. The horses live in herds, some birds live in flocks, or they live in twos, right? So all the animals have this pattern how they live. And the interesting thing is the cat is the only animal that is known to scientists, to biologists, that does not have a pattern, a social pattern. Some cats are loners, most are not. So that's a common myth and stereotype. Most cats are not loners. But some cats, they like to live in twos. Some cats like to live in groups, some just like humans.
Right.
We don't have a fixed social pattern, right? Some humans, they thrive when they're in company. Some humans would rather be alone. Some humans they prefer to live in twos, so they're going to live with their spouse or with a partner. Some love to have a big family, so they live in a big family. And it's the same with cats. They're the only animal that has really free will to live exactly how they want to live. And that's how we humans are and that's explained with the DNA as well, that we feel so close with cats because they're so close to us in antics and in social behavior and social pattern.
Hmm. I had never thought about that. That's so interesting. And yeah, and I've always had, we talk about people having a thing for dogs or a thing for cats, and it seems like I've always had the thing for cats. Like I love dogs too, but cats are special to me for whatever reason, probably because I've had such special ones in my life and they've been so amazing. So do cats reincarnate? Because I have some people that have had cats and feel like maybe they've come back in another cat body. Their personality has come back. I think I've heard that with dogs too. Is that what do you think about that?
Yes, absolutely. They do come back, not always, but when they have soul contracts with us, or when their task with us was not fulfilled, they will come back to us. They can. We've had past lives with them. With a lot of them, we've had past lives. We've been together for centuries, for millennia. We've been reincarnating together. We would always meet each other again. Those are the soulmate cats, the ones that are so dear to our heart. We can explain why. But all the cats and the dogs, likelihood is that they've been with you before. And if you see the same personality types, the same traits, the same behaviors, then likelihood is yes, that your cat was with you in this lifetime. Absolutely. They do come back in this lifetime. A lot of them do. And sometimes they even come back in a dog body, or sometimes dogs come back in a cat body. I've actually had crossovers. I mean,
Hmm.
from my experience, a cat is a cat is a cat. So a cat soul is a cat soul is a cat soul, and a dog soul is a dog soul, and a human soul is a human soul, by the way. There is none of this, or I have not seen or witnessed this, and the cats keep telling me no, this thing that people become ants and then they're cats and then they're humans, this progression up to being a human. I don't see that. I don't want to tread on anybody's beliefs, but I don't see that happening. A cat soul is a cat soul. A human soul is a human soul. But sometimes cats come back in a dog body when that person can't have a cat in their life, but they need to have that soul back in their life. They will come back in a dog body because, let's say, somebody has cat allergies in this lifetime or something, and then they cannot have the cat back, so the cat will come back in a dog body, or the dog will come back in a cat body, just so that they can be with us, and you will see the traits of that dog in your cat, or you will see the traits of the cat in your dog. So it's
Hmm.
really interesting. They will come back to us when they have a mission still with us, when they still have a task that they haven't fulfilled, or to just keep us company because they're so close with us. They just come back because they want that companionship with us, or we need them. If we need them back, we can ask them to come back. Actually, your cat crosses over, you can ask them, please come back to me in this lifetime, and there's no guarantee that they will, but you can make that request.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, and I think that um, you know, a lot of people will find comfort in that,
Yeah.
just knowing that. And I know that even when we talk about grief and we talk about soul contracts and things that have been planned before we came here, and people come into our lives for a purpose, The same way that you're explaining with the cats, they come in for a time when they need to, and then, they go. And so I think that's so amazing.
Yeah, they explain it to me. They have a shorter lifespan, so they cannot
Right.
stay with us like a human. Some humans stay with us our entire lives, right? Or entire adult lives. And they have shorter lifespans, so they have to come back in a new body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it does give people a lot of comfort. I always say you can request, you can ask them to please come back or ask your guidance, right? To please send him back to you. We can make the request. There's no guarantee, but many of them do come back, and they always say, "Don't go looking for me. I will find you."
Right.
And you will recognize them. You will see that cat in that other cat, or you will have that unexplicable connection to this kitten that was just born. You say, I don't know why, but I have to have this kitten. I don't understand. It makes no sense. And then you bring that kitten into your life and you find out, oh, okay, yeah, that's my past so and so. They came back to me. That's why you were drawn to that kitten. So they will find you.
So what advice do you have for someone who's, lost a pet and is in that process of grief now and just is really struggling? What kind of advice would you have for them?
First of all, I honor your grief. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't grieve because it was just a cat. Honor your grief and find the people who will understand. There are support groups. There are people who will understand. Honor that grief, but also um, let go of the guilt. Understand that the soul had to cross over. It wasn't they needed to go. There's always a reason why they leave us. So let go of the guilt. Everything was exactly as needed to be. And remember them at their best. They want you to remember it's okay when you grieve, but remember them at their best. So going forward, basically remember them at their best. Um, if you really, really feel that you need that soul back in your life, make that request. Talk to, whatever. I mean, ideally meditate, ideally connect to your higher guidance, to your higher self, and ask, can you please come back to me? Can you please send him back? But what they also say, they want you to become more intuitive. We all need to become more intuitive. What I do, everybody can do. Tune into the other side, be an intuitive, talk to animals on this side, on the other side. They always encourage me to tell humans, to tell people, use my passing as your doorway to your intuitive powers. Meditate, call me and feel me. They say, feel me around you. A lot of people say, I could swear that they're still around me, or I could swear that when they're in the grieving process. Some people say, I could swear that the cat jumped on the bed with me last night when I was lying in bed. And yes, they do that. They will come to you. In the beginning, when you're still in that mourning process, they are very, very close to us. They're very close around us, so we can still feel them. So understand that, yes, when you feel that they're still around you, yes, trust your instincts. They want us to use our clear senses. They want us to get into that, to really step into our power and to become intuitives, to become, open to the other dimensions. So they want you to tune in, to feel them, and they want you to contact them. They want you to speak with them. You can go into a little meditation. You can close your eyes. You can try to have a conversation with them, and then trust whatever comes in. Some people expect they hear a voice in their head, but that's not always how it works. You don't hear that kind of communication as a voice. A lot of people get it as a thought in their head, and then they don't trust it because that was just a thought that I had. The answer, right? No, it was that other person, that animal from the other side giving you a message. Or you see pictures, they send you pictures, or they send you a feeling, right? All of a sudden you just feel this warm, fuzzy feeling around your heart. That was your cat reaching out to you. So they say they are stronger on the other side when they cross over. They say, we understand, you want us in the physical, but there's a reason why I crossed over. I'm stronger on the other side. I will support you from the other side. They're shielding us, they're giving us love, they're holding us, and they want us to tune into our clear senses. So take it as I don't want to say as a gift, because when a cat crosses over, it never feels like a gift,
Mm.
right? I mean, we are heartbroken,
Right.
but see it as your doorway into the other dimensions, and that there are other dimensions, and tune into your intuitive powers. Everybody can do what I do. I am not some special, or anybody who channels or is an intuitive. We're not special. Anybody can do it. We're just a little further along that we can actually do these things now when other people are just starting to wake up. But if you have this feeling there with you, tune into it and understand that they are always with you. Even your cats, or I feel two cats around you, they're coming in right now. They are always with us, and they're available, and we can speak with them. We can awaken these intuitive gifts. So that's a message that wants to come through today. I'm kind of in the chanting mode already
Yeah.
as I'm speaking. So the message today to your viewers, to your listeners, is tune into your telepathic powers, tune into your intuitive powers. They are there for you. Even if they passed 20 years ago, you can call them. So that's what they want us to do, because it's time for people to step into that power and to develop these gifts. And they're also telling me to share that what we call death is really, it's not that, it's not the end. The Western world kind of sees death as this horrible thing that happens, and then somebody dies and they're gone. They're not gone. It's just a different way of being. They're crossing over into a different dimension, let's say kind of into a true form, soul form, and nobody's ever gone. That personality, well, maybe some of the human quirks might be gone, but everything you learned in your human life, or everything the cats learned in their cat life, it's still there with them. The love that they have for you, or the love that our departed human companions have for us, it's still there, and we can tap into it, and we can nourish ourselves with it, and we can know that once we cross over, there's something there. We're not going to be gone. It's not dying, it's not falling asleep, it's waking up. So
Hmm.
that's a message that they wanted to come through today.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the idea of this opening a doorway. And of course, because my book was Awakening Through Grief, I really feel like, it just opened me up to see that things are much bigger than what I thought they were as this human person, and just opened me up to the whole idea of being able to communicate with others on the other side. And when you say, everyone can do this, I totally believe that. I totally believe that. And even as you're talking, and channeling the cats, I can see, all the ones that I've had relationships come forward, and it's so cool. So thank you for giving us that message, because I think people need to hear that, and see grief as a way to open up to something that you didn't know before. You're just starting to remember. And so I think that's so amazing. Where can people find you?
My website is probably the best starting point, sylviesterling.com. There's everything I teach. There's classes. There's my books. I have two books, Your Cat is Your Guide and The Cat Secret. I have several classes. I actually have a class on talking to cats in spirit. So if somebody wants to communicate with their cat on the other side, I have a little class on there. And yeah, that's basically where you find me, sylviesterling.com.
Well, I'm going to encourage people to find you, because I think this is fascinating and something that's really needed for a lot of people. Do you have some advice or something you want to talk about that we didn't get to in the interview?
I would like to share that we in the Western world, we have this thing about death is this horrible thing right at the end of our life, and we don't want to talk about it, and we don't want to look at it. And what I've learned through this work, I used to have a fear of death. I used to be terrified as a child. I was lying awake thinking, what's after? Because I didn't believe in anything, right? So I said, what's after? Is just black afterwards, right? If you die, what happens? There's nothingness. And I was so afraid. I spent half my life being afraid of it. And then when I started to go into the spiritual journey, but mostly when I started to talk to the cats and when they showed me the other side, that fear went away. because I know that it's just a different, and that's what I want to share with you viewers. It's not that there is nothing afterwards or that they're gone. There's this whole world out there, and it's really, they're just in a different dimension. It's just shifting from this dimension, the physical, into a different dimension. And the biggest gift that my cat, Lisa, gave me, the first cat that died in my arms. I had three beautiful, wonderful cats. And at 17, she was the first who crossed over. And I was always kind of pushing that away. I want my cats to live forever, right? And I was so surprised, or I was so, yeah, I was surprised that I could actually do this. She was getting weaker and weaker. And then she crossed over in my arms. And what I thought was going to be a horrible experience turned out that it was a gift. I mean, yes, it was, it was hard for me, of course, my beloved cat passing away. But she passed away at home with me and my husband there. And she showed me the whole process. It was such a gift with hindsight. And she was showing me the stages that she was in. All my clairsenses popped open when it happened. And yes, I was grieving as she was passing, but I saw everything that was going on. And it was such a gift with hindsight. She showed me that as she was getting weaker, she was lying there, she was getting weaker, and her breathing started to get all funny and everything. And my husband was looking and saying, this is horrible, this is terrible. And I said, no, she's separating from her body. I saw her basically that her soul was separating from her body. And as she was, going into these stages, my husband was very upset because he didn't have these intuitive powers that I had at the time. And I saw how they were showing me her soul was hovering over her body. So everything that you saw, the body, she said the body was going through the motions. The body is shutting down, so the body's going through motion. So you see all these things going on the body, which looks scary, right? But she was hovering above. She didn't feel a thing. She was already separating. She said the body goes through motions to let go, basically to shut down. And she was very, very peaceful. And then I saw this portal opening, this portal of light opening next to her. And there were beings there, and they were welcoming her. They were waiting for her. They were helping her cross over. And it was beautiful. It felt so serene. And I was both, both really, really, because she was dying, but I was so peaceful. It felt so peaceful. I saw the portal. And then I heard them say, now we're cutting the silver cord. And the silver cord is what connects the spirit or the soul with the body through the heart chakra. And I heard them say, now we're cutting the silver cord. And then 2 seconds later, she stopped breathing. So, and then she stopped breathing. And then she was just, and I basically saw her go through that portal of light. And then she showed me that the moment that basically they close their eyes and we think they're falling asleep, it's waking up. They're going through the portal and they're waking up, and everything is colorful and everything's light, and there's beings there, and it's this whole world. And then we are on the other side. We are grayed out. Our world looks all gray and dull and everything, and this is the real world. So they're saying it's what we see as falling asleep is really waking up. And it was the biggest gift that she could give me. And I've never looked at death the same afterwards or dying, because I could see she gave me the gift of telling me everything that was happening. And while it was a hard experience, it was also a peaceful experience. So that's what I want to share, to really not fear it, and to know that the real world is over there on the other side. And even if it feels like the person is suffering, it's the body going through the motions. So it really took the whole terror out of this, what we call dying, for me. And that's why I feel it's so important to share. And also know that there are soul contracts. Souls have a certain, we are given exit points in our life. So the cats, dogs, we're giving exit points, and we can choose whether we take that exit point and cross over or not. It's always the soul's choice. So whether it's a cat or a dog or your human loved one, you never made a mistake. It's exactly how it needed to happen. And I know I said that before, but it's really important to know. Don't beat yourself over the head with it. Don't feel guilty about anybody dying or I should have, could have, would have. No, the soul chose that exit point. And it's never your fault. So just let go of that guilt. know that they are always taken care of. It's a wonderful world over there. And they chose the exit point because they chose it. So you never did anything wrong. I think that's really important to share with people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, anyone who is listening just heard some of the most comforting and amazing insights into the afterlife and how we transition from this life into that life. And so, if you can imagine how comforting that is right now to hear that, imagine how comforting it would be to work with you one on one, or to be able to, ask you some specific questions. And so I encourage people to reach out to you if that resonated with you. I think it's going to be great. I think it'll be wonderful. So thank you for taking the time today. I really appreciate it. And I know that there's been a lot of really golden nuggets here in this interview for people to be able to find some peace around their grief. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And thanks everyone for listening, and bye for now.